So you're thinking about moving to Salt Lake City, but you want the real pros and cons before making the leap.
This place has a lot going for it, from the mountains to the booming job market to the amazing outdoor activities, but it's not perfect. So in this video, we're gonna go through everything from the pros to the cons, everything in between about what it's like to actually live in Salt Lake City.
And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to share with you a couple of really useful tips on getting around the alcohol laws in Utah. We're Rod and Melody, your guides to living in Salt Lake City and beyond. With over 30 years in Utah real estate, we're here to help you navigate this beautiful state with confidence. We make videos about living in Salt Lake, exploring the suburbs, and what life in Utah is really like. We've helped over 1,400 families make their move in, out, and around Utah. And whether you're headed to St. George, South Jordan, or Smithfield, we've got you covered.
One of the pros of living in Salt Lake is its thriving job market. We're part of Silicon Slopes. So you've heard about Silicon Valley. Utah's Silicon Slopes, which is a really great big tech hub. Some of the companies you may recognize that have big operations here, Adobe, Oracle, Goldman Sachs, all have big operations here. We have a very low unemployment rate and lots of opportunities. It's one of the most resilient economies in the country, which can make it great for remote workers or people that are looking to change careers. The home that we're in now is actually right on Silicon Slopes, so you're maybe a 3 to 4 minute commute to a lot of the companies that we just talked about.
Another pro about working downtown Salt Lake City is the tracks. You've got tracks and then the front runner that can take you all the way down to Utah County. So those working in Silicon Slopes can also make it downtown pretty quick, and those working downtown can make it to Utah County pretty quick. So if you are interested in living in Utah County or Silicon Slopes, then a lot of people will take the train to downtown Salt Lake to work. Okay, you've heard us say this before if you watched any of our other videos. A con to living in Salt Lake City is the air quality.
It's bad in the wintertime. We have an inversion. The cold air traps all the gunk and the smoke and the car exhaust down in the valley. Unfortunately, it's going to be like that in most of the major metros in Utah, especially northern Utah.
Yeah, it's our mountains, really. They form a bowl and the air just gets trapped. Now, here's a really good thing is it doesn't last forever. We'll have a storm come in and then it clears up in the winter and we have beautiful blue skies. So it's not like it's constant throughout the winter.
And there is a cap to it. So if you get up into the mountains, if you're skiing, if you're doing any recreating, anything like that, you don't have anything to worry about because it's really only trapped in the valley.
Yeah, so if you get sick of it because it's been a week or whatever, just go to Park City, go skiing, and you're out of the inversion. So the real estate market in Salt Lake City is shifting. And what I want to say is that because our population is generally a little bit more conservative, what happens in other parts of the country with the high highs and the very low lows, we experience it more on an even keel. So we don't go really high and we don't go really low when other parts of the country are experiencing those huge shifts in the real estate market. So is that a pro or a con? I would say it's a pro.
Salt Lake is well known for its family-friendly suburbs. It's some of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. And it's like that in almost every single community. So definitely a pro. When you move in, you oftentimes get cookies and cakes and an introduction to the neighborhood, which is always nice.
Here in Utah, obviously, it's family-friendly. It's community-minded. You go to the park and you see kids playing. You've got a lot of sports that your kids can join. It is definitely family oriented as a community. So if you're coming in from out of state, you're gonna notice that right away. Okay, it's a con. And you've heard us say it before if you've been watching our videos. Salt Lake City has limited nightlife. And I'm not kidding. It's really hard to find something awesome to do at night.
Okay, so there's no dance clubs really. There are actually, it's getting better.
It is getting better. When we were younger, there were absolutely no dance clubs. And if you did go to a dance club, very few people were dancing. It's changing.
You won't see strip clubs you won't see strip clubs.
We're not Vegas.
No.
But that's not very far away. If you want to drive 5-6 hours, you can have all the nightlife that you want. So in fact, a lot of people that we know will go to Vegas ever so often just so that they can experience the nightlife that they crave.
And I can tell you this, the diversity is coming in more and more and more in Utah, which is bringing in a little bit more normalcy, I would say. We are seeing a few more liquor licenses being dealt out. We're seeing unique restaurants coming in. We're seeing a few more things that are adding to the culture of Salt Lake and kind of getting away from the historic religious city that it was for so many years.
Okay, we're talking about traffic.
Yeah. Traffic everywhere, as the populations have continued to grow, has gotten busy. I think you're all experiencing it everywhere. Salt Lake is no different. We still are very busy. There's rush hours early in the morning from like 7 o'clock until about 10 o'clock. It can be busy on the freeway. Same goes from about 4 o'clock in the evening till about 7 o'clock in the evening. It can be busy. They are working on a lot of new arteries, so we're trying to keep up with the population, but like everywhere. And I will tell you that traffic in Salt Lake is not near as bad as some of the other major cities that I've driven in.
The thing that I would like to say is that I've noticed a lot more people taking the tracks and the front runner.
Mass transit stuff is getting better. Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of people are taking mass transit, the front runner, and tracks. Oh, they have a bus too, but that's more downtown.
One of my favorite things about living in Utah is the proximity to a lot of national parks. We are, just a few hours from some amazing places like the Sawtooth Mountains in Wyoming or Yellowstone, but we've also got Zion's National Park, Bryce Canyon, all kinds of amazing places to visit, and they're world famous. One of my favorite places to visit is in the southern part of the state. You're a handful of hours away, and it's called Angel's Landing. Now, if you haven't had the privilege of going and walking this hike, do a few searches online, take a look at Google, some of the most amazing views. Now, you do hike some chains, so what that means is you have 1,000-feet drop-offs on both sides of a narrow 3-foot path, and you hold onto a chain so you don't fall. But I promise you, it's a once-in-a-life experience, lifetime experience that everybody should do.
And no, not everybody should do Angel's Landing. He loves it. I totally would never go because I'm petrified of heights, and it really is a sheer drop-off on each side. So for me, I'll just stay back at the hotel and put my feet in the pool. Another pro of living in Salt Lake City is that it is actually a lot more affordable than coastal cities. Yes, our prices have increased and changed over the last few years since COVID. However, we're still a lot more affordable than, say, San Diego or Chicago. You'll find condos starting at $300,000, single-family homes starting around $450,000, and you're in the luxury home market at $1.2 million, like the home that we're in today.
And we can never forget the amazing outdoor lifestyle that you get living in Utah. Some of the things are like boating, some of the best lakes in the area. They're everywhere. You've got fly fishing, you've got skiing, snowboarding, mountain biking. We've got some of the best mountain biking trails in the country. You're also really close to places like Lake Powell, where you can go down and get a houseboat. There's some amazing red rock ravines, cliff jumping, everything that you can imagine. We have it. There's also kind of a fun little spot out here where we have saltwater fish and a bay where they actually thrive, and you can go down and scuba dive or snorkel and see some tropical fish right here in Utah.
We're not gonna lie, liquor laws in Salt Lake City are very quirky.
Yeah, definitely different from a lot of places. So where do we start?
First one is that grocery stores only sell alcohol up to 5% ABV.
That's a big step up. It used to be 3.2.
And only beer.
Yeah, and that includes Costco's, that includes Walmart's, that includes all the big box stores as well. So getting anything higher than that and anything other than beer, no wine, no whiskey, anything like that, from a regular grocery store or Costco.
The next quirky thing about the liquor laws, when you go to a restaurant, you have to order food.
You can't just go in and have a drink. You've got to get an appetizer or something. A lot of restaurants have figured out a way to sell you nuts or peanuts or something for $1 so that there is food on your receipt, because that's a requirement. But it's something that you need to get used to.
You'll also notice when you're going into a restaurant or a bar that on the door, right by the door, it says restaurant, this is a restaurant, or this is a bar. And that distinguishes the way that they can serve you alcohol with how much food. The bar, you have to be over 21. The restaurant, they can serve minors.
So there's usually a clear delineation of where children can sit in the restaurant and where adults can sit. And speaking of that, we have the weird Zion curtain rule. So they can't pour your alcohol if you're getting a mixed drink out where you can see it. They have to go behind a wall. They don't want to tempt the kids into thinking it's fun to have a drink.
So if you're in a restaurant, you'll notice that the taps are fake. They're not pouring beer out of those taps. If you go into a bar, then they can pour it obviously out of those taps that you can see. The other thing that I notice when we go to a restaurant is a lot of times they'll actually paint or have certain seating that is in a bar and certain seating that's in the restaurant.
Can't get too close.
Yeah, can't get too close.
Also, no doubles.
Oh yeah, no doubles.
Yeah, they don't allow that, and it's not a free pour state, so they carefully measure everything. I think they measure light. For those of you that drink, you can't understand how that works.
Yeah.
But,
so
it's clearly carefully measured.
Right, and so not being a free pour state means 1 ounce of hard liquor in your drink, and that's it. Wine and liquor are only available in state-run liquor stores.
And the only other thing I'll share with you is something that's interesting that we found out. I like wine, and so we thought, hey, you know what, let's get a subscription to a wine service so that we can get some new flavors sent in, stuff that we aren't trying, and you can't ship wine into Utah. So sorry about that. If you want to bring wine in, you got to drive it in. The same goes for cigars, unfortunately. So a couple of little things, and after you've been here for a minute, you get used to it. It's not as complicated as it may seem up front, and everybody...
Locals adapt.
Yeah, everybody adapts. It's not that big of a deal.
We've helped over 1,400 families move in, out, and around Utah. So whether you're moving to St. George, South Jordan, or Smithfield, we have you covered.
See you in the next one.